All right now, I'm about to give it up to the NFL because they're still attempting to try to figure out the diversity issues that they have on the sideline. Now, I say issues because some don't think they have an issue. Some think they do. I don't think they do, but let's talk through this. Okay, so black coaches and DEI. Y'all know what DEI stands for, right? Yep, you're on Google like me. Now stop playing. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, all right? It's been the choice phrase to use of late when you're talking about getting representation, obviously. Now, it's interesting already to introduce DEI to the NFL when sports at large discriminates from hell low. You don't believe me? You want to see discrimination on full display? Play youth sports. It starts there. Okay, first thing we're going to do is, how old are you? I'm 8. How old are you? You're 10. You go over there, you go over there. You're not playing together. All right? Second thing is, okay, let's see the gender. Boys, there. Girls, there. All right. Okay, how much you weigh? You're 8, but you're 100 pounds, and you're 8, but you're 140? You go over there because you might have to move up and play with a 9-year-old. You catch me? And it continues. You go to the combine. Okay, height, weight, everything's 40. Oh, I'm looking at you different based on what you do. So the discrimination is built into sports, like it's the meritocracy. But the merits are, what do you do? Then we're going to differentiate you guys. Catch that. Okay, why do I bring that up? Because it's going to be nearly impossible to find full representation without discrimination anywhere in sports, including on the sidelines, including on the field. What is it? 74% people of color and 56% black. So if you're not Latino or black, if you're just white, it ain't easy making the NFL, or you're not fully represented, let's say that, on the field. But then you get to the sidelines, it flips, right? It inverts, it flips on its head, and you're like, well, there are only a few black coaches and a ton of white coaches. But which way are we looking at representation? Are we looking at it in totality, saying, well, there are a lot more players than there are coaches? Or are you just saying only on the field? Then where's the white players? Then if we say only on the sideline, then where are the black coaches? That's our conversation. Okay, so 40 coaches are going to attend the NFL Coach Accelerator program, including ex-Bills defensive coordinator Leslie Frazier. All right, this will be held at the Spring League meeting in Minneapolis next week. Already, Courtney and I were talking about how the fact that they call this a program already makes me cringe a little bit, because I just don't see how 40 coaches coming around and shaking hands with an owner or looking at a slideshow for 4 hours and just going around, and how did you choose them? And all of this is going to turn into an actual job. And I'll tell you why later on. Okay, so the program's aim is to increase exposure between owners, executives, and diverse coaching talent, providing ample opportunity to develop and build upon their relationships. Okay, that is true to a point. Like, if you don't know somebody and all of a sudden you're going to a program and you basically are networking, or as I like to say, you're working the net. You guys now have broken the ice. Okay, the ice is broke. Now, also, I got your contact information. Oh, okay. After this, we'll stay in contact and follow up. Okay, that could develop into something. But does that develop into me hiring you or putting you in the front of the line when an opportunity presents itself? We'll discuss that later. All right. So the Accelerator follows the inaugural coach and front office Accelerator, and the front office Accelerator hosted at previous league meetings in 2022. Y'all catch that? Basically, this is the second year of this. Woo! How long y'all been having this coaching issue? If you have an issue, and this is only the second year, hey, better late than never. For the first time, however, teams were able to nominate coaches outside of their organization. That's smart, right? If you know somebody who's just talented, he ain't got to work with you for you to nominate him. Love that. Coaches who were chosen are attending based on their high potential to be considered for head coaching jobs. Now, I don't want to poo-poo all on this. I just want to push back on it because truly my heart is into making it work for the coaches that deserve it. Whatever color they are, whoever they are. If you're the best man for the job, damn it, hook them up. Now, if that's not occurring because he doesn't have the opportunity or the relationships, all these things, then this program is necessary. But if you're looking at how coaches are truly hired, this program is nothing but something public facing to say, hey, we tried, but you know how the game really goes. Frazier interviewed for multiple head coaching jobs during his time as the Bills defensive coordinator. This is what he said. I don't want to say that I'm okay with it where it doesn't matter anymore. He said that because he's frustrated, right? Young coaches with offensive backgrounds being hired over coaches with defensive backgrounds. He said, you're disappointed that people get that narrow-minded and only believe that I got to hire this young offensive mind to lead my team because I got this young quarterback. But it's the owner's team. They paid all this money for that team. They get to choose how they want to run it and how they want to do it. So you have to do the best you can with what you have, and I'm going to do the very best I can as the defensive coordinator of the Buffalo Bills. There are a lot of other worthy defensive-minded coaches in our league that could be head coaches as well. And you just have to keep doing what you do and do it well. And you can't control the decisions that they make. Y'all read all that? Y'all hear all that? Y'all know what that means? He basically is saying, I'm just going to do me, and if something else happens, guess what? I will be surprised, and I'm hoping and expecting it all in the same breath. He will be surprised because he's not losing his belief, but he's certainly doubting the opportunity. He believes in himself, opportunity, doesn't think it's going to happen, so there's no connection between your inner confidence and an outward display and opportunity. That's a tough place to be in when you know you could do something and you just don't have it and you don't have a chance to do it. That's what this program is supposed to be doing. Now, do I like this idea? Yeah. Do I think it's going to work? Hell no. Let me tell you why. It's so many ways I could chop this up. Let's start off with the offensive versus defensive minded coaching thing, which is weird to me as well, because I thought defense wins championships. And if defense wins championships, where all the defensive minded coaches getting hired, especially because the greatest coach of all time, Bill Belichick, is defensive minded, right? But nope. Doesn't work that way. Why? Because the NFL, in terms of its purity and integrity in the sport, has been compromised by the bottom line and the entertainment value of growing the economics. So basically, people go to games like me to watch 38-33. We don't go to games to watch 6-3, even if that is a winning effort. But only one team wins. But all teams can entertain. Y'all catching this? So basically what they're saying, the NFL, in this fine print of how it wants its business to be ran, of course every year we're going to have a champion. Of course you could go about it any way you want to. But let me just remind you, your fan base will be highly interested and excited, even in defeat, if you're entertaining, if you gave it a shot. Look, Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson, that's my favorite team outside of the teams I play for. Love watching the Ravens. Will commit, bought Ravens gear. My son has bobbleheads. We're all in on the Ravens outside of our teams. Why? They're exciting. Lamar Jackson is everything. Have they won? No. Have they been in the conference championship? No. You catch my point. And 32 teams can check that box. But only one team can say they win it all. So that's part of this conversation. Now, the owners, they also are too distant from their franchises, except Jerry Jones, maybe, to know exactly what it takes and what to look for in a head coach. Be real. Owners own NFL teams because it's a hobby purchase, right? It's a fan man purchase. Oh, I got so much money doing what I really do that I'm just going to go invest in a team that I know is going to make money and have fun doing that. Now, if that's how you start something off, chances are you might not have the greatest intel, so therefore you build a team. But how are you building a team when your starting point is, this is just a hobby thing that I'm going to fly in with my G6 and land and see how things are going? What they base it on are two things: the results, did we win it all? And was it entertaining in the ride, even if we came up short? So owners they're a part of the problem. Not because of just racial relationships and who they know they're going to hire or stuff of that nature. They don't know who to trust because they don't know who to look for. Y'all catch that? All right. So much of this race conversation when it comes to head coaches is talking about it simply like there are 20 white coaches and only 3 black coaches. Wrong. Because you can use that same argument on the field, then you obviously know that makes it a little hypocritical. So let's talk about it for real. The race conversation in America at large usually starts with the head start. The head start that put white people ahead of black people in these type of conversations because of slavery, right? Financially, opportunity, socially, etc. Blah, blah, blah. We know it, all real things. However, everyone's trying to reconcile that head start with today's times, today, the present day. How do you ever try to make this equal? DEI, diversity with equity and inclusion. How can you really do that when we know there's a head start by a certain group? For me, the way I look at it is simply, you got to get out of grouping everything because the grouping will make you say, look like the black people caught up on the field, right? And then it'll make it look like on the side, well, look like the black people can't catch up on the sideline. And they're two different things, right? You get drafted. They choose you. You could be undeniable, but you still get chosen, just like you get chosen to be a head coach on the sideline, right? So let me give you some of my experiences when I played. One thing about the head start that people don't talk enough about is that it wasn't just about white and black. It was about acumen and interest. I knew some black players that wanted to be coaches. I knew a lot more white players that wanted to be coaches. The interest, not just the acumen. Do you qualify? Do you know how to coach? The interest when I played, and look, that was 2007, my last year in the league. Oh, it was a long line of white guys who were ready to transition to become coaches and a shorter line for black ones. Now that line's gotten longer. Is the line ever equal? I don't think so. Because everybody's not into everything. There's a paradigm and value system based on culture for everybody, right? And we know what it looks like. It's stereotypical, but to generalize, it's real. So in this conversation, how far are we going to generalize? Because in certain aspects, we know that the black players are fully represented versus the white players. But then on the sidelines, and certainly the head start is greatest up top in terms of ownership, where you don't have that representation in full. But how can you close the gap? You can't legislate desire. I have a company. I actually do. Guess who's going to work for my company? Qualified, yes. Interested, yes. But guess who's going to work? Because they know the owner. My daughter. She just graduated Columbia. She skipped the line. Yeah. I'm looking at all these other resumes. Yeah. But she's getting in too. And the point of that is this program is trying to help people skip that line. It's trying to get people to the front of that line. But as I know, as you may know, if you own anything, that final decision is on you. And last time I checked, whenever I'm making economic decisions, I'm looking at someone's acumen and interest, not their skin color. Because if that was the case, then we wouldn't see the NFL field look the way it does. If that was the case, on the sideline, only one team wins, 31 coaches fail, if you want to call it that, regardless of color. So to me, this is such a nuanced conversation. It's not black or white, it's actually gray. Silver, as my therapist likes to call it, because he says gray doesn't have as much life as silver. How can you fix this issue? Because you can never fix the head start. But how do you now try your best to close the gap? Seems like the NFL in this Accelerator program is trying to do just that. But I'm here to tell you, every time I've seen different minority groups have ownership, I just had a meeting, I told you guys, with the bank. It's an Asian bank ran by an Asian CEO, and most of its people working there and most of the people that bank there are Asian, right? Where's the DEI in there? I got $5 on it. So the point of it is, how do you legislate desire? This is all building blocks to get to that final moment, the moment of truth, when an owner is looking at a candidate and he says yes to you and no to the rest. Is this program going to actually get you to the place, not just to the front of the line, but where he actually commits, where the owner says yes? You guys tell me in the comments, because right now, as much as I love the A for effort, in terms of achievement, I think it still will fall short.